let's go paint. Let's just go paint. Get some stuff, make a palette, and go paint. Throw that up over there. All right, so you got your container of water. You've got your paper. I put some black tape around the outside because I always like peeling off the black tape. It makes like a really nice clean edge. This is going to be made in a sketchbook that I made myself. It's completely falling apart, I believe. I don't know. It's a handmade book that was made in 2017. It was used for a while. There's some drawings in here, but the pages are literally falling out because I'm not a bookmaker. No, not a bookmaker at all. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. So first thing you want to do with your Myntz container is eat a mint. Why not? You want to make sure that you finish your mints before you grab one of these empty containers. So with the empty container, it's just tin. It's got a little lid on it. It kind of like locks closed pretty well. So, I mean, it's definitely not airtight or watertight. I bet if I put this underwater, it would probably leak, like a leaky boat. But for our purposes, it's going to be fine. I would probably clean it out. It's got a little bit of mint dust inside there. But we're going to go ahead and paint with some gouache. And today we're going to create a palette with yellow ochre. Ochre or ochre? I don't know. We'll never know. I think it's just ochre. Black and vermilion. It's fancy. It's fun to say. Vermilion. Should I wear the glasses? Nah, I don't think so. I think I'm far enough away. I don't know what's going on, but I can't see up close anymore. It's becoming quite the problem. So this right here, the black, white, vermilion, and yellow ochre. Say it how you want to say it. It doesn't matter. It's called the Zorn Palette. The Zorn Palette is a limited palette that is known as the Zorn Palette because the painter that used it, his last name was Zorn. Imagine that. But it sounds kind of cool. It sounds like almost something from a science fiction thing like Star Trek or something. Zorn. It's a Zorn Palette. Zorn.
Not today, Zorn.
Zorn sounds like he's going to destroy the galaxy. You also need a blue shop towel, and through the magic of video editing, I'm going to go ahead and wet a blue shop towel and pack it inside of the palette, and then we're going to put the paint down. A shop towel. Blue. It's blue. Blue shop towel. Pretty. Okay. So what we're going to do is pack it inside of this thing here. This is just like one piece, but you fold it up nicely. Fold it up real nice, like a little blanket. Give yourself like a flat-ish surface with the towel, because then you can get all your paint and you won't waste too much, like having it soak into the little crevices, right? Because the whole purpose of us doing this is to, save money, save space, save time. It's all this great stuff. Let's see if we've ever used vermilion before. It looks like we have. Okay. So we're going to take some vermilion. We're going to put this down. And basically, this is kind of like a very simple primary palette. So with the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, you can mix pretty much anything that you want. So there's the red. There's the yellow. I know I've used the yellow ochre before. Ew. Gross. We're going to use white because... Ew, look at what I did. I got some crusties all on my thing. That was bad TV. No editing's going to save that. It's okay. It's okay. This is not, this isn't supposed to be the most precious masterpiece that I'm going to paint here. And I'm just going to paint a sphere. So we got vermilion, yellow ochre, white, and then black. And you might say, wait a minute, I think you're mistaken. You said it was a primary palette, and the primary colors, I learned this when I was a very little person. The primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. You don't have any blue. What's with the blue? Why? What's with the blue? I don't know. Maybe there was no access to blue paint when Mr. Zorn was painting.
It's Zorn!
Or maybe he just wanted to do it this way. But you're using black as your substitute for blue, and it darkens things quite a bit as well. Now, the nice thing about having this is I'm not necessarily going to mix on this side, but I'm going to kind of carry them over, and then a little mixing is happening here. And I could kind of get myself a nice sort of like green, lighten that green a little bit if I wanted to. And when I say green, it's like yellow and black in this case make green, just like yellow and blue would normally make green. But let's go ahead and take some of that. So we'll say that that is pretty much the shadow being cast on the ball. So the light's coming from that side. And then too much water in the gouache, man. What are you doing? The ball is going to have a little bit more of a warm tone to it. So we're going to go ahead and kind of get to the middle here. So the Zorn palette is useful too because you can mix up some pretty good flesh tones with these simple. And you're not getting like too overly complicated because you have such a, well, that's why it's called a limited palette, right? You've got such a limited set of options. So you got these little tubes of paint. You got your little container of Myntz. You got your little brushes. You got your little sketchbook. And all this little stuff allows you to kind of get out there and, you know, it's what we're trying to do anyway, is get out there and make something. Okay, things are happening. Maybe I'll switch over to a clean brush. And is it the best idea to be pecking away at this thing like I'm doing? No. But isn't going to hurt because I'm just kind of seeing how the material is interacting with this paper. The paper's a little bit thin, so it's buckling, which I don't love. Bringing some of the colors from the sphere into the background. Bringing some of the colors from the background into the sphere. This isn't an art lesson about rendering. It's an art lesson. It's not even an art lesson. It is a money-saving tactic so that an expensive thing like painting is a little bit less expensive and a little more convenient and a little less messy and a little bit less particular and doesn't require all of that cleanup time that painting tends to require. Because many times when you're going to paint, it's like, well, I can't paint, use it as an excuse. And I would say, well, why not? Why wouldn't you want to paint? And you say, oh, I only have an hour, I only have 2 hours. And by the time I get set up, I'm out of time, right? I'll have to clean up by the time I get set up. I'm just kind of letting these colors do stuff and having fun. I don't want to be miserable learning how to paint. I'm trying to have fun, right? I'm kind of getting into this, getting a feel for this. I mean, gouache is kind of cool because you, like I said, you can kind of, it reactivates when you go to paint over it. That's why I prefer it, probably why I prefer it over watercolor. You don't want to use super tacky paper or super tacky tape. No super tacky tape, because super tacky tape will just tear up your paper, especially when it's like cheap. You get the idea, right? You get my drift. But I hate making ugly stuff. So I will not concede failure. Who's going to want to sit there and watch the world's worst, ugliest sphere, Zorn sphere? The room and the ball are the same color. It's not horrible. No. Don't do it. You're opening a can of worms. You did it. I told you not to do it. Well, there's that. Close up your palette. Here's another one. How long ago did I use this? It's still got moisture in it. I used this thing, I don't know, a week ago, more than a week. But this wasn't gouache. This was acrylic, and it's still, this stuff has still got some, I mean, I'm not going to use this, but this is acrylic paint that has not completely dried yet, and it's been a week, at least a week. Myntz tins, tin mints. And that's a wrap.
Thanks for watching. Like, there's like a little button that they put on the laptop or something, and then they say click it, and then you can never even miss a video.
That's if you subscribe?
Yeah.